mynews.studio.
Picture this. Instead of a syringe, your next vaccine arrives in your mailbox. No needle, just a patch or a drop. Do you think that could completely reshape how we approach public health?
It's a striking image. And today is August 1st, 2025. For so long, the needle has been the main obstacle, whether it's fear, pain, or just the logistics. But something seems different now. Why is that?
We're seeing technology finally catch up to the need. Take skin patches with dissolvable microneedles, for example. There are also oral drops and jet injectors. These aren't just concepts anymore. Companies like Micron Biomedical and Vaxxus have patches that work at room temperature and don't require much training to apply. So you could vaccinate whole communities without using a single needle.
I'm curious, with these patches, is it only about being less painful, or are there broader benefits?
It's both, really. The microneedles actually dissolve into your skin, so there's no pain. But the major advantage is logistics. No cold chain needed, no specialized staff, way less medical waste. In a recent trial for measles and rubella, Micron's patches were used safely in kids as young as 9 months. That's a significant breakthrough for places with limited resources.
What about jet injectors? I remember hearing that PharmaJet has an FDA-cleared device for things like polio and flu.
Right, those use a high-pressure stream to push the vaccine through the skin. No needles involved. They're not quite as self-administered as patches or drops, but they do reduce accidental needle sticks and waste. Oral vaccines are even simpler. Think of the polio drops.
So what's the main barrier to making these needle-free options routine? Is it about cost, or are there technical challenges too?
There are a few. First, these alternatives have to prove they're as effective or better than regular shots. That means large clinical trials showing consistent, strong immune responses. Second, regulatory hurdles are significant. Manufacturers need to meet strict standards, go through all trial phases, and get approvals from agencies like the WHO and FDA.
Has any evidence come out yet showing these new vaccines actually work better than the older versions?
Some research points that way, particularly for certain diseases. Needle-free patches, for example, can trigger both mucosal and systemic immune responses, sometimes stronger than shots. But it does depend on the disease and the technology. Trials are ongoing in places like Nigeria to look at cost, ease of use, and immune response.
And about the cost, you'd think eliminating cold storage and needing fewer staff would mean these are cheaper overall, right?
In principle, yes. Patches and oral drops avoid the need for refrigeration, require less medical training, and create hardly any waste. Jet injectors are a bit more complex. They need upkeep, but they still cut some costs. The challenge is that ramping up production takes a big initial investment, so the price per dose stays high until manufacturing scales.
How are organizations like Gavi and CEPI tackling these challenges? Are they doing anything specific to speed up access?
They're putting serious resources behind this. Gavi and CEPI use tools like advanced market commitments and pooled procurement to lower risk for manufacturers. They also help fund efforts to scale up production. Some are even piloting direct mailing of self-administered patches, especially for people in remote or conflict areas.
Can these new vaccines actually be used in existing immunization campaigns, or would it mean starting from scratch?
The goal is integration. These needle-free options can be added to current campaigns, working alongside local governments and NGOs. Community health workers could handle the last-mile delivery. And it's especially important for reaching people who don't get traditional services, whether that's because of geography, conflict, or just hesitancy.
Does removing the needle actually help with vaccine hesitancy?
Early data says yes. Taking away the fear, pain, and stigma of needles seems to make a difference, especially for kids and anyone with needle phobia.
So, are we nearly there? Or is this still years away from being the norm?
We're closer than we've ever been. but getting to mass adoption still depends on ongoing trials, regulatory sign-off, and scaling up factories. If those hurdles are cleared, needle-free vaccines could shift global immunization completely.
A future where your mailbox replaces a needle may be not that far off, after all.
Today we unpacked how needle-free vaccines might make immunization simpler, safer, and more accessible worldwide. Thanks for joining us as we broke down the science, logistics, and potential impact.
And for everyone tuning in, remember, progress in public health often comes from removing barriers, not just inventing new tools. Stay curious, stay informed.
Thank you for listening. This episode is brought to you by mynews.studio. Try it now for free.